Hello guys, welcome back to our channel LifeLiyo. In this video I am going to discuss about what is a list in Python, what are the different characteristics of a list, how to create a list. First, what is a list? In simple terms, if you want to say the definition of a list is nothing but which is used to store multiple items in a single variable. That means in a single variable, till now we have seen that if you want to store the 10, we are using a variable called a, b or something. So we are using the single variable for storing single value. But instead of this one, if you want to store multiple items in the single variable, then we can use a concept called list. So another definition is there which is very similar to this definition. A list in Python is used to store the sequence of various types of data. So that means multiple items or various types of data. Both are nothing but same. So this is another way of telling the definition. Another one is a Python list is an ordered and changeable collection of data objects. What is this ordered and changeable collection means, which you are going to learn in the characteristics. Next, in normal things, if we say that a list is nothing but a collection of heterogeneous elements. Heterogeneous element means various or multiple items of different data types under the single variable name. So if you want to store the multiple elements of different data types under a single variable name, we can use list in Python. What are the characteristics of a list? The first and foremost one is that it is a dynamic sized array. So in C programming, when you read about the arrays, we are talking that they are the fixed arrays. But here this is a dynamic sized arrays which are like vectors in C++ or array list in the Java. And the second one is, in the previous one, that is while telling the definition, I said that a list in Python is an ordered and changeable. What is ordered? That is here. A list is an ordered sequence of items. What is this ordered sequence of items means? When we are creating or when we are initializing a list, there will be an order. That is, first which element to be stored, second which element to be stored, third which element to be stored. The order of the elements cannot be changed. That's why it is called as the list is an ordered. So means whose order of elements will not be changed once it is defined. But what is the definition there? Ordered as well as changeable. Ordered means we cannot change the order of the elements, but we can add the new items or new elements. That's why it is called as a list is an ordered as well as a changeable. So but if you want to add new items to a list, the new items will be placed at the ending of the list. If you add any new item to the list, it is going to add it at the ending. It is not going to add it at the between or starting anything, because once we have initialized a list, it cannot be changed its order. So this is the one of the most important one. And the next one is that is a single list may contain the elements of different data types. So that's what in the one of the definitions said that a list is a collection of heterogeneous elements of different data types. So that is nothing but a single list may contain the elements of different data types. So how these elements are going to be stored? They are going to stored in a square braces, which each and every element is separated by the comma. Next, and the most important point is a list is a mutable and may contain duplicate values. List may contain duplicate values as well as mutable. What does this mutability mean? Mutability means we can alter even after their creation. That is, we can add new items or we can delete the existing items from the list after their creation. That is called as the mutability. That means we can manipulate the list. That is the main important property of a list. Then, what is the syntax for creating a list? So we are saying that list is nothing but collection of various elements of different data types under a single variable name. So, single variable name, that is list name, assignment equal to, all the elements are separated by the commas and they are kept inside the square braces. So this is the syntax of the list. Now let us look into the examples. First, so this is a list with all the elements as the strings, because if you have any string, you have to keep it inside the double quotes. Here this element is also a string. This element is also a string. This element is also a string. So here student names is the list name which consists of all the elements as the strings. This is one way. Next one, number count. This is one variable. Here all the things are considered as the integer, because every number has been written separately and they have not kept inside the quotation. If you not keep in the quotation, it is going to be considered as the integer. Next, combination, different elements. A string, number, number. So here can we use the floating? Yes, you can use. That's why it is called as a list is a collection of heterogeneous elements of different data types under a single variable name. And also these are dynamically sized. So we don't need to take the fixed size or fixed number of elements to be stored. It is automatically allocated. Now if you want to find the how many elements are there in a list, then we have a function called len function. So if you use this len function, it is going to tell us that how many items or how many elements are there in the list. Simply how we can perform is print of length function, len of the list name. Which list you want to find the len, that list name should be passed. Next, how to create a list. While telling about the characteristics, I told you that a single list can consist of the different data type elements which are separated by the commas and kept inside the square braces. That is nothing but creation. How can we create? Placing the sequence of elements of items inside the square brackets which are separated by the commas. So elements in the list may be of any number of items and it may be of any data type, either integer, float, string, etc. Let us look into the examples. First one, create an empty list with the name emp_list. So we have to create a list with empty list, that too empty list with the name emp_list. Let us execute this one. So emp_list equal to empty. That's it. So if I print the empty list, what I am going to get is run empty. So this is the way of creating an empty list. Empty list means only giving the braces and also not giving any commas inside the brackets. So that means this array is the this list is the empty list which can be manipulated in the future, that is by adding each and every element one by one later. Yes. Next one, create a list with 6 subject marks of a student as student marks. It's very easy. So student marks equal to 6 subject marks in a list. So 98, 54, 72, 66, 85, 79. So 6 subject marks completed. Run. So print of stud underscore marks. Run. We got this one. So here we already know that Python is a dynamically typed. That means based on the elements and based on the data we store into the variable, it is automatically going to find out it is automatically going to take the type. So how can we find the type of the any variable? Print of type of student marks. Run. Look at here, list. It is of the class list. Now, what is the size of this student marks? To find the size, we have a function called length of variable name, that is stud underscore list. Stud underscore marks, sorry. We got the answer 6. 6 subject marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 elements. Yes. Marks equal to 6 subjects. Create a list which consists of a student details like name, roll number, age, gender, city, percentage as student data. So we have to create a student data equal to, it should consist of the name. So name is some LifeLiyo. So LifeLiyo. Next one is the roll number. Y2 5K 8. Yeah, it's my roll number. Let us assume it as. Next one is age 29. Next gender. So gender is a string. So we are writing it in the double quotes. Next city. So city is the India. I am taking it as India. Then percentage. Percentage is 98.56. So print of student data. Run. LifeLiyo Y258K 29 male India 9 minutes. So it consists of, this list consists of the string, a string, integer, string and a floating value. So it is nothing but the collection of different elements of different data types. Yeah, same thing. Next, another one. Create a list with the name, student details, and it should consist of the another list with marks in it. That means there is a possibility with the non-defined student new marks. I am taking that student details. So I am going to copy this one. So student details. So a list item, that is a list element, may be a consists of another list. A list element may be the another list also. So here instead of taking the normal element, I am taking the list as the element. Now I am going to take the marks, this one. So I am going to save those marks inside the same list. Yeah. And print of new marks. LifeLiyo, this is one element string, another one is the integer, this one is a string, and then it is a list. So a list may consist of the another list as the element. That's the thing. Next, create a list with fruit names. Simple thing. Fruits equal to banana, apple, grapes. And completed. So banana, apple, grapes. Yeah, same. So this is about the creation. Now you may see that, sir, is it going to accept only the list as a member in the list? No, it is going to accept the another data items also, which we are going to learn in the future. In this video, I am going to discuss about how to access list elements in Python, what is forward indexing, what is backward indexing. So in the last video, we have seen that how to create list in Python. Now after the creation, what we have to do? We have to access the elements or items of a list. To access the elements or items of a list, we have to use an operator called index operator or slice operator. So the elements of the list can be accessed by using the index or slice operator. What is this index or slice operator? That is nothing but by using the square braces. Next, what is the syntax? Before going to learn about syntax, here the index, that is the indices, it is also called as the indices. The indices of a list will start from 0 and it will go up to the length minus 1. What does it mean? For example, if you are having a list with 100 elements, then the first element of the list is going to be stored at the 0th index. Then the second element will be stored at the first index, and the third element will be stored at the second position or second index. Like this, so on, it will be continued. So the syntax for accessing a list element is list name and the number or the index position which we want to access. For example, if we want to access the fifth index element, then we have to pass the 5 as the index number. Now, what are the different ways to access list elements? In Python, to access the elements of a list, we have two ways. One is positive list index. This is also known as forward indexing. Next one, negative list index. This is also known as backward indexing. Now, what is positive list index? Just now we have seen that to access any element from the list, we have to use a number that we are calling it as the index or indices. Like that, or positive index means where the indices start from 0 and it goes up to the length minus 1. Now what is the syntax? That is, here we will pass the positive index number. That is, whenever we have taken a list, then it is going to start from the 0 and it is going to end the length minus 1 as the index numbers. So for example, if you are having a list with 10 elements, then the index will start from 0 and it is going to end the index number at the 9. This is what we know. So let us take the example. Yes, I am taking a list called LifeLiyo. So any name which follows the identifier rules. So I am taking 9, 66, 52, RAM 23.5 or 86. We know that a list is a type where it is going to hold the elements of heterogeneous types. That means it is not going to hold only integers. It is not going to hold any float values. It is not going to hold only strings. It is not going to hold characters. So it is going to hold any type of element in the same list. Now, if I want to access 23.5, then what is the index number of 23.5? Initially 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So print of list name is LifeLiyo and the operator is the square brace. What is the index we want to print? 4. Then run. Yes, we got the 23.5. Now you have a doubt that what will it happen if we try to access out of the index, that is 0, 1, 2, third index, fourth index and fifth index. Now if you try to access the fifth index, basically this list consists of only the indexes up to 0 to 5. But if you try to access the index beyond the length, then what we are going to get? That is, we are going to get an error called index error. The error is a list index out of range. So if you try to access indexes other than the above said range, then there will be rise of an index error. Index error. What is that index error? List index out of range. So what is the number we have to pass in the list name? We have to pass the positive integer only. We cannot use float or any other types. If you pass any other type than the float, integer, positive integer value, you are going to get the type error. Let's make a try of that one also. Print of LifeLiyo of 1.5. 1.5 is a float value. So if you pass the index number as a 1.5, look at here. Type error. List indices must be integers or slices, but not the float values. So we should not pass the float or other types. If we pass, we are going to get the answer as the type error. Let's take this one. Example 99, 68, 74, 38, 88, 45. So, how many elements are there? Total 6 elements. So, the index starts at the 0. So, positive index starts at the 0. And the index ends at the length minus 1. The length of this one is the 6. Length equal to 6. So, the ending will be 6 minus 1, that is 5. So, positive index ending at 5. Now, how these indices will be? So, these indices will be at the 0th index, we are having the 99, first index 68, second index 74, third index 38, fourth index 88, and the last index, fifth index is the 45. So, here if you observe that, the index numbers are everything in the positive values from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is positive list index. How it is going to be represented? Look at here. When we write it in a table, the positive indices will be start from the 0 and end at the length minus 1, and every element will be hold in the one index position like this. Now, negative list index. This is purely the contrast of the positive index. That means here the indices starts at the minus 1 and ends at the minus 9. Now, what is the syntax? Simple. Instead of positive number, we are going to assign the negative index number, or we can use the negative index number for accessing the list elements. For example, if you have the 10 elements in our list, then the indexes allocated for that one will be starts at minus 1 and ends at minus 10. The remaining things are same. That is, if you try to access the indexes other than the above set lines, then you are going to get the index error. Here, what you have to use the index number? We have to use the negative number. And we can't use the float or other types. Now, 99, 68, 74, 38, 88, 45. Now, the negative indexing will not start from the starting position. They will not start from the starting position. But from where it is going to start? The negative indexing starts from the last element. So, the negative indexing starts from the last element. That's why 45 will have the minus 1 indexing. And the indexing ends at the minus n. That is length of the list. What is the length of this list? 6. So, negative index ends at the minus 6. Minus 1, 45. Then, minus 2, 88. Minus 3, 38. Minus 4, 74. Minus 5, 68. Minus 6, 99. So, these are the negative indexes. So, if you represent the tabular format, negative index, this one not positive, this one is negative. Negative index starts from the ending of the list. That's why the representation is given like this. So, the negative index starts from the ending of the list. That is, the last element in the list will be given as the minus 1. But before that one, it is minus 2. Up to the first element. The first element is nothing but the index value of minus length. If the length of the list is 6, then the first element's index is minus 6. So, print the 74 in the above list using positive and negative indexing. So, if you represent the same thing in the tabular format, positive indexing will be from the starting element to the ending element, that is 0 to n minus 1 length. So this way. So this is a table. While coming to the negative indexing, the indexing starts from minus 1. That too it will be from the last element to the first element, like this. Now what we have to do? We have to access the 74 by using the positive index as well as the negative index for this list. Now student marks equal to 99, 68, 74, 38, 88, 45. Now what is the thing we have to do? We have to print this 74 using the positive index and as well as the negative index. So to print the positive index, print positive index of 74, comma, what is the index? Student marks of, what is the index of positive index of 74? This is 0, 1 and this is 2. So we have to use the 2. Then negative index. So negative index of 74 is the last element will have the minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Minus 4. Run. Look at here. Positive index of 74. We got the answer 74. Negative index of 74. 74. Yes. That means for the same element, the positive index is 2 and the negative index is minus 4. Yes. Positive index is 2 and the negative index is minus 4. Now, I haven't shown you this type error as well as the index error in the negative indexing. I will show you that one also. This is my list. Print of good underscore marks of 2. So what we are going to get the 2? Nothing but 74. Yes, good. Now 20. So does this one having the 20? No. Obviously this is a positive number. But to access this 74 in the negative way, we have the minus 4. So 74. Now, if we try to access minus 8, basically how many elements are there in this list? 6 elements. So 6 elements means minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. But we are trying to access the minus 8. So that is, when you run this one, we are going to get that index error, that is list index out of range, because the index should be either positive or negative, but that should be the within the range of this length. So it should not exceed the length. Now, if you try to access the list element by using the negative float value, then type error. This is same as this type error. List indices must be integers or slices, but not float. List indices must be integer or slices, but not float. So this is the positive and negative indexing. Now I have a doubt. Student details. I have taken a student details with some. I will take the name Ram and city as Hyderabad. Okay, fine. Another one, that is percentage 98.5. What it might be, because a list may consist of anything, any element also. So here another point is, a list may consist of another list as an element. So I am taking 6 subject marks as 98, 99, 98, 97. Print of student details. So if I run this one, yes, Ram, Hyderabad, 98.5, then all the elements in the list have been printed. Good. Because we know that a list may consist of any type of elements in that particular list. So a list may consist of the another list. This is called as the sublist. A list which consists of the another list as the element, then that element list is called as the sublist. Now, you may get a doubt that, sir, how can we access this 97 by using indexing? Either it may be a positive or negative. That is nested or multiple indexing. So a list can contain any sort of object or element, even another list, which means it consists of the sublists themselves. They are known as the nested lists. They are known as the nested list. That means a list inside another list. So what is the purpose of creating them means you can use them to arrange the data in the hierarchical structures. You can access individual items in the nested list using multiple indexes. So if you want to access this 97, we have to use the multiple index. For example, if you try to access student details of, the index number for this one is 0, 1, 2, 3. We are going to get that all the elements of that list because the entire list has been considered as a particular element. Now what is our goal? We have to access only 97. For that one, how can we access is, this is the syntax. The index number 1. This means main index. And this one is the sublist index. So, what is the main index of this list? It is 3. What is the index of this 97 in the sublist? 0, 1, 2, 3. So, print student details of third element, third index position element, and then in that one we can print the again third position 97. We got the 97. So this is the example I have taken. So how it is going to take, if I take RAM in number 20, Hyderabad, and a sublist. So first 0th position is going to hold the RAM, first position is going to hold the 20, second index is going to hold the Hyderabad. What about third? Third is going to hold this against sublist. So the sublist is going to be created like this with the again first index 0, 1, 2, 3 or negative index -1, -2, -3, -4. Now how we can access is, we can access with the help of the multiple indexes. That is one for the main index, another one for the sub index. Sorry, main list index, another one for the sublist index. Now if you want to access this 55, how can I write? 55 is available in the third index of main, and then 55 is available in the -1, positive 1. So 3, 1 returns the 55. RAM 20 Hyderabad stud details equal to RAM 20 Hyderabad, then again a sublist 99, 55, 99, 55, 32, 66. So print of stud date of third index, and in that third index we want to access the 55. That means first element. Run. Yes, we got the 55. Now you may get a doubt that, sir, is it possible to access with the help of the negative index? Obviously it is possible. Now what is the 55's negative indexing? Negative indexing is the -3. So 3 of -3. Run. Yes, we got the 55. Sir, can we take the negative indexing for the main index also? Yeah. So what is this one? -1. This element is the -1. -1. And what is the first index of 1 for this -1? This 55. Yes, 55. Now, you may regard that, sir, can you use the multiple negative indexings? Yes, it is also acceptable. What is the negative indexing of this one? -1. We have taken -1. What is the negative indexing of 55? It is -1, -2, -3. So, -3. Run. Yes, we got the 55. So, this is the way we can access the sublist inside the list. Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. In this video I am going to discuss about how to slice a list in Python. What are the different ways of list slicing with examples? First of all, what is slicing in Python? Before going to enter into our concept, just I want to tell you one basic thing, that if we have a watermelon, so it will be in the big size, we can't eat directly. Then what we are going to do? We are making into the slices. That is, we are dividing into the small pieces. Like the same thing in our Python, a list slicing means nothing but is a process of accessing a range of elements from a list. That is, out of the entire list we can access a piece of that list. That is, if you have 100 elements, we can access some 3-4 elements, consecutive elements. If you have 1000 elements, we can access some 50. That is called as the list slicing. That is, accessing a range of elements in a list. So how we can do this is by using a slicing operator called colon. Colon is used as a slicing operator in the list accessing. This is the syntax. That is, list name, what is the start size, what is the stop index, what is the step size, start index, stop index, and step size. Okay, we'll look into the matter next. So the start, from where you want to slice, that is, if you have a big list, that is 1000 elements, we know we want from the 51st element, so that defines the start. Then where you want to end, that is where you want to get like 100 elements, so from 51 to 100, that is the stop, where you want to stop. And then specify the step. This specify the step means if you want to get the every element from 51 to 100, or you want to make it as a 2-step or 3-step, that is by directly jumping from one step to the another step. So when you do the slicing operation, then obviously it is going to give you as a new list from the existing list. Start defines the starting index number for slicing, that is from where you want to slice. Stop defines that ending index for slicing. If you have given the slicing index as 5, then it is going to consider from the stop -1, that is 5 - 1, 4. That is how many steps to be incremented for every iteration. By default, if you don't define the step size, then it is going to consider the, if you don't define the step size, by default it is going to consider the step size as the 1. If you define it as a 2 or 3, that is, instead of going for the next element, it will jump for the second element. Some of the concerns, that is, what will happen if you don't define start, what will happen if you don't define stop, what will happen if you don't define step, like these things. If you define start and stop, then it is going to create a slicing from the list, that is from the starting index to the stop -1 index. If you define only start, the slicing will start from the starting index and it will last up to the ending index. If you define only stop, by default it is going to consider from the starting index, that is the 0th index, and it will slice up to the stop -1. If you define start, stop, step, then the starting index will be considered and the stop -1 will be considered, and the step size tells us that how many steps have to be iterated after each and every operation. That is, I will tell you in the next example. Next, if you don't define the start and stop, by default they will consider from the 0th index to the last index, and if you define only step, based on those steps it is going to be sliced. Now create a list with 10 subject marks of this one. Okay, I will create student marks equal to 99, 55, 22. 98, 67, 45, 82, 49, 72, 56. Now I will print this one. When we have created a list like this, then automatically a list is going to be assigned with the positive indexing as well as the negative indexing. Now look at for the positive indexing, that is also known as the forward indexing, and the negative indexing, which is also known as the backward indexing. It is going to be represented like this. Positive index starts from the 0 and the negative index starts from the -1. So this is a normal representation. Now let us take the example, the same thing which we have taken, and the first one is print the elements from third index to the 7th index. So 0, 1, 2, 3. That is, our expected output is 98, 67, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is up to 49. 67, 45, 82, 49. Now what I said, that to slice from the third index to 7th index, the start size should be from 3. That is the starting where we want to take the starting index position, that is third index. And what is the index position we want in the ending? 7. But if we take the 7, the stop size is going to calculate from the 7 means 7 minus 1. For that purpose you have to take the 3:8. That is starting from 3 and ending is 8 means 8 minus 1. That is 7th index. Look at here, 98, 67, 45, 82 and 49. So this is the third index to the 7th index. Now next question. Print the elements from the 5th index to the last index. So if you observe that, asking the question for starting from the 5th index and ending at the last index, if you don't define the stop size, by default it is going to consider the last. But here asking the specified starting index. So for the purpose, print of student marks. So before going to this, I will write the expected output. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is what we are going to get. So 5th index to the last index. So student marks, okay, of 5th index to the last index. So 5 is the starting index and we don't need to give the last index number. Look at here, 45, 82, 49, 72, 56. We got the same thing like this. So that is for defining the start and not defining the last index. Now here print the elements from the 0th index to the 5th index in the list without defining the starting index. So what they are asking us is, we have to print the elements from this respective list from the 0th index to the 5th index, but the condition is we shouldn't define the 0th index. For that is, we want to define the start index. So simple thing, hash, what is the expected output for this one? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means we are going to get the answer from 99 to 45. For that, print of student marks of. So if we don't define the start index, by default it is going to consider from the 0 onwards. If we define as the 6, then it is going to take the 6 minus 1, 5. Yes, 99, 55, 22, 98, 67 and 45. Yes. Next, now the most important concept, that is negative indexing. Print the elements from minus 6th index to minus 2 second index. So we have to start from the minus 6th index and we have to end at the minus 2nd index. So for that, so minus 6 is to minus 2. Run. Look at here. 67, 45, 82, 49. So if you observe that, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. Minus 6, minus 5, minus 4, minus 3. You may get a doubt that if you have given the minus 2, why it have taken up to minus 3? Because minus 2 means minus 2 minus 1. That is, the stop size is going to do the minus 1 with the number what we have provided. Minus 2 minus 1 means minus 3. So it is going to cancel from the minus 6, minus 5, minus 4 and minus 3. That's why you got this one. Next, print the elements from the minus 5th index to the last index. That is, we have to start from the minus 5th index and we have to end at the last index. Print of good marks of minus 5 is to, okay, before going to that, let us note down the expected output. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Run. Look at here. So we have defined the starting index as the minus 5. That is, from minus 5 onwards, it have taken up to the last index. Next, print the elements from the last index to the minus 6th index without defining the starting index. So from where we want to print? From the last index to the minus 6th index. So that is, this is the last index. From this to the minus 6, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6. From up to this we have to print. Minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is going to get the output like this. So print student of marks. So minus 5. Run. Sorry. Last index, sorry. Last index means 99, 55, 22, 98, 67. So we are going to get from the last index. I have thought it as the positive, starting index. So this is my last index to the respective number 6th index. That is minus 5. Next, print all the elements of a list with a step size of 2. That is, first element will be printed at the 0th index and the second element should be printed at the 2nd index and the third element of the 4th index. That means when we use the step size, first it is going to give the 99. Then if you define the step size as 2, then we accept this one, it is going to take the second element. So instead of normal things, the step size is a 1. So after 99, 55 will be printed. But in this one, step size 90, after 99, if you define the step size as 2, it will go to 22. After that 67, then 82, then 72. So print of good underscore marks of, I am not going to define the start size, I am not going to define the stop size, but I am going to define the step size. That is, I want to get the elements from the starting to the ending, but their step size will be 2. That is, instead of the common thing, that is the common step size is the 1, I want to print it from the second element, every second element. Run. So look at 99, 22, 67, 82, 72. 99, 22, 67, 82, 72. So if you define as the 3, first the 0, then the third element, then again third element, and the last one. So that is the step size. Step size means instead of the common thing that is the next element, it is going to jump to the respective number what we have defined. That one. Now print all the elements of a list with a step size of -2. I will copy this one, -2. So what will happen if you define it as the -2? Look at here, 56, 49, 45, 98, 55. 56, -1, -3, -5, -7, -9. Look at here, -1, -3, -5, -7, -9. So these are the different ways of accessing a list by using the slicing operation. In this video I am going to discuss about how to change, that is how to replace the list elements in Python. What are the different ways of replacing the list elements? Examples on replacing list elements. These are the 3 topics I am going to discuss. First, changing or replacing list elements in Python. We know that a list is a mutable type, which means once it is defined or once it is assigned with some value, it can be changed in the future. So that is, a list in Python is a mutable. Now, so we know that each and every item or each and every element in a list is associated with the index number. This index number plays a key role in changing the item or element in a list. That is, you can change an element within a list by using the items index. What are the different ways of changing list elements? So in Python, once a list has been created, we can change it in 2 ways. What are the 2 ways? The first one is we can changing a specific item value, that is changing a single element from the list, or changing a range of item values, that is multiple or sequential values. Those values can be replaced. How we can done? First one, changing a specific item value, that is how to replace a single element in a list. To replace a single element in a list, we have to use the respective index number of that element, and then we have to assign a new value. The syntax is the list name, which list we want to change, followed by the index of the element. So which element we want to modify, that index number, and then the value which you want to assign. That means the new value will be assigned to the list of this respective index. Let us take an example. So consider the list ADAP of 93864. That means we have to create a list with these numbers. ADAP equal to 93864. Good. Replace the second index element with new value of 10. What are the indexes of this list? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to access only the second index, then if I write that print of a of 2, second index. Now what is the value at the second index we have? We have the, sorry, adapt it. This one is adapt 8. So the number 8 is assigned at the respective list elements. Now what we have to do? we have to replace the second index element with the 10. That means this 8 had to be replaced with the 10 value. For that, what we are going to do is we have to use the our list name is adapt, and where we want to change the element respect to index, that is second index, and the new value which we want to assign 10. Run. So we have done this one. Now if we try to print the adapt list, look at here, we have considered 9, 3, 8, 6, 4, but after the changing or replacement at the second index was replaced with the 10. This is changing a single element. Now let us try that. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, total 0 to 4 indices. Now if you try to change adapt of 6 equal to 22, run, that is it will represent you index error because list assignment index out of range. So we cannot change the value if that index is not available in the list. So we can't change the value which is not having the index position in the list. So this is the key point. Look at here, adapt of 2 equal to 10. That is the same thing we have done. Now print the list. We have printed the list also. 9, 3, 10, 6, 4. What we got? 9, 3, 10, 6, 4. Yes, we completed this one. Now changing a range of item values, that is if you want to change a set of values, that is a consecutive values from a list, how can we do? Simple thing. So to change the values of items with a specific range, then you have to define a new list with the values, and you have to refer to the from which point to which point you want to insert the new values. The syntax is the list name followed by the start index and stop index, and then the new list values. So these list values are going to be assigned starts from the starting index and ends at the stop index -1. You know that when we define the stop index, then it is going to calculate up to the stop -1. Let us look into an example. Consider the list adapt. Okay, here instead of adapt I am going to take that BOP. This is my list name, BOP 9386427. BOP equal to 9386427. Okay, I have created a list and I am going to print that BOP. Yes, we got that 9386427. Now what the next step is, replace the elements from second index to fifth index with the following elements. That is we have to replace the second index. This is the 0th index, first index, second index, third index, 4, 5, 6. That means we have to replace these 4 elements with the 12, 19, 17, 13. So for that purpose, what we have to do is BOP of what is the starting index we have to take? Second index. So 2 is 2. Then what is the stopping index? Fifth index. If you want to stop at the fifth, we have to take the index stop index as the 6, because when you take the stop index as 6, then it is going to consider up to the 6 minus 1, 5 only. So 6 equal to the list elements, that is what are the elements you want to change. All those elements have to be created into a new list. So 12, 19, 17, 13. Now run. No, nothing is there. Now when you have taken the BOP, these are the elements. Now if you try to run the BOP in print, now look at here. 8 has been replaced with 12, 6 has been replaced with 19, 4 has been replaced with 17, 2 has been replaced with 13. So this is a replacing, look at here, list of range of item values. Now let us try to do that. BAP of 2:5 equal to, okay, instead of BAP I am going to take KK equal to 9386427. 9386427. Okay, I am printing KK, run. Yes, we got this one. Now, sorry, I am getting the same name. KK of 2:5. If you write 2:5, what does 2:5 mean? Second position, third position, fourth position, right? Now, if I enter that, India, comma, LifeLiyo, comma, Python coding. Now what will happen if you try to give the 2, 3, 4 positions, and if you try to insert 4 elements at a time? Run. We haven't got any error. Now try to print what is there in the KK. Look at here. 9 is same, 3 is same, 8 is replaced with India, 6 is replaced with LifeLiyo, 4 is replaced with Python, and then the next position is occupied by this coding, and the remaining bits have been, remaining elements have been shifted to the right side. So that means if you define 2:5, then it is going to take the new element also and it is going to be inserted. So this is changing a range of item values. I'm going to discuss about how to update or modify the elements of a list in Python. Different functions, predefined functions useful for performing updation or modifying. Examples. First of all, what is update or modify list elements in Python? Updating or modifying a list means adding a new entry to a list or changing a particular entry in the list, such as CRUD operations, create, read, update and delete. So we have seen in the last videos how to create a list, how to read a list, and how to change an element at the respective index. But we haven't seen that how to add a new element to our respective list, or we haven't seen that how to change a particular entry in the list. That is what we are going to look into in this video. You can update single or multiple elements of the list. What are the different ways or different functions available to update or modify list elements in Python? In Python, we have different functions for performing the tasks such as updation, deletion, or creation, or reading, like this. Here we are talking about the update or modify. That is, after creating a list, if we want to update or modify our list, we have different functions. They are append method, insert, extend, and copy. These are the 4 methods we have for performing the adding or updating elements of a list. So now append. The append normal definition or normal meaning of an append means nothing but adding at the ending, right? Like that, here append means which is used to add a new item or element at the ending of the list. That is, if you want to add any element to the already existing list, that too at the ending, then we have to use the append method. What is the syntax? So the syntax is, we can use the list name, the respective list name dot append method, and what is the element to be appended at the ending of the list, that element have to be given here. Here one more point you have to remember is, with append method you can add only one element at a time, that too at the ending of the list. It is not possible to add at the front of the list. It is only possible to add the element at the ending of the list. Let us take an example. Take the original list student marks as 99, 55, 76. Student marks 99, 55, 76. Yes, we have created. Append 98 to the original list. Okay. Before going to append, I will print what is the student marks list. Run. Yes, these are the elements in the student list. Now, what is our question? Append 98 to the original list. To this list, we have to append the element 98. To append the element, what is the syntax we have to follow? List name dot append method of element to be appended. They ask what is the element to be added? 98. Yeah, done. Run. Yes, completed. Look at here. List name dot append of 98. Now print the student marks list. Okay. Let us look into the student marks list. Look at here. 98 has been appended at the ending of the list. It is not going to add it at the starting or middle. It is going to append it at the ending of the list. This is called as the append. So this append method is used to add only one element at a time, that too at the ending of the list. Now, I will take that Jumbapuram equal to empty. Now, if I try to print Jumbapuram, so I will get that empty list. Now, for that purpose, if I try to add Jumbapuram dot append of 30, so run. Done, completed. Now, again, what I am going to do is Jumbapuram dot append of 50, run. Jumbapuram dot append of 80, run. Now, if you try to print the Jumbapuram, that is my list, then I am going to get that 30, 50, 80. So, if you want to take a dynamic list without knowing the size, then you can create an empty list and you can add the elements every time by using the append method. That means if anybody are trying to create an empty list and want to add the elements, yes, we can do like this. So, first we have to take an empty list, then we have to append the new element every time. Next, insert. What is the difference between the append and insert? Insert means which is used to insert an element at the respective index. That is, if you want to insert the element in the respective position, that should be done with the help of the insert. So, with this function, with this method, we can add one element at a time. Common thing. But that element might be a single value or a list or a tuple. That means in the append we have used a normal element. Here we can use an element or a list or a tuple. Now you may get a doubt that, so why can't we append a list or a tuple? Okay, let's try this one. Jumbapuram dot append of, I am taking a list 98, 56, run. Now print of Jumbapuram. Yes. So in append also we can use the list or a tuple for appending, but this is going to append at the ending only. But in insert method, if you want to add a new item or element at the respective index, that is the key thing here. So the syntax is list name dot insert and in which index you want to insert and the element to be added. So we know that Kumbli equal to 9, 52, 56, 78. So if I try to print Kumbli, now I am going to get the answer as 9, 32, 56, 78. This is 0th index, first index, second index, third index. Now I want to insert an element at the second index. Then what I can do is my list name dot insert of second index, that is index number comma, and the element what I want to insert. I want to insert 999. Run. No errors. Now if you try to print the Kumbli list, look at here. 0, 1. What is the previous second position? 56. But right now the second position is 999 and these remaining elements have been shifted to the right side. So this is the difference between the insert and append. Append means which is going to add at the ending only, but insert is going to append at the respective index position. So in the student marks 99, 55, 76, insert 50, 32 at the second index. Same 2, 50, 32. Print the student marks. We are going to get the same thing. Next, extend. Now append completed, insert completed. What is extend? Append elements from one other list or tuple or set to the current list. That is, if you want to add the respective list or a tuple or set to the present current list, we use a method called extend method. So here not going to extend it by the single element. Here we are going to extend it by the sequential type element. What do you mean by sequential type element? Sequential type elements are nothing but the list or tuple or set or dictionary. So we can extend the present list with the another list or a tuple or a set. What is the syntax? So the syntax is list name dot extend of another list of tuple or set. So what is this extend means? If I have the a list with 10 elements named X and another list named Y with 10 elements. If I say that X dot extend of Y, then the X is going to be extended its original one with the another Y element. That is, the X is going to be the 20 elements right now. Now let us look into the example. Okay, I will take Q as 9, 3, 5, 12, 7. Total how many elements in here? 5 elements. Now PQ have 12, 78, 56, 39. Total how many elements here? 4 elements. So if I say that PQ dot extend of PQ, before that I will print the what PQ is. That means you are going to get the PQ list. Then I will print the PQ list. You are going to get these 4 elements. Now if I say that PQ extend the CQ. Now if I try to print the PQ and run, look at here. This is PQ 5 elements. This is CQ 4 elements. Whenever I say that PQ dot extend of CQ, that is the elements in the CQ list is going to be added to the PQ, that too at the ending of the list. This is called as extending the original list with the another list. Here we can extend not only the list, we can extend the any sequential type element. That is called as the extend. Now additional copying of list. For example, if I take the Basha as a list 12, 68, 35 and Basha as a Basha. Now if I print the Basha and print Basha. Now when I print the Basha, I am going to get the elements as the same. When I am printing the Basha, I am going to get the elements as the same thing. Now the traditional way of copying the list to another list is by using the assignment operator. With the help of the assignment operator, the Basha list is even assigned to the Basha. Good. Now what the thing is, if I try to append the Jaffa dot append of 656. Now you may think that only the Jaffa list is going to be updated, but it is wrong. That is, Jaffa is now look at here. So when we try to append the Jaffa list, then automatically Jaffa has also been updated. Now if you try to append the Jaffa dot append of 258, okay, fine. Now print this one. Now look at here. When I try to change the Jaffa, same Jaffa also changed, Jaffa also changed. This is called as the traditional way of copying. That is the main problem with this copy. That is by using the assignment operator, assigning the one list to the another list is when there is a change in the one list, main list, or the subcopy of that list, then it is automatically showing the effect on the copied list also. Like whenever I change the Jaffa, it shows the effect on the Jaffa also. Whenever I change the Jaffa, it shows the effect on the Jaffa also. So this is the main problem with the assignment copying. To avoid this problem, we have a method called copy in Python. Now, what is copy? So you know that copy means copying the elements from one list to the another list. It's the same thing. But here it returns the shallow copy of the list. Means copying one list and keeping it in the other list. What does it mean? So, for example, Jaffa, if I taken the Jaffa equal to 9874, and if I create a okay, before going to that, I will explain the syntax. The syntax is new list equal to list name dot copy. Now my new list name is Jaffa equal to, what is our existing list? Jaffa dot copy. Now run. That means whenever you use this existing list dot copy method, this list is copied into the Jaffa and both the things are having the different addresses in the memory. So here in Jaffa, in the previous assignment, Jaffa also shares the same address. But here when you use this new list equal to existing list dot copy method, then the original list and the new list are going to have the different element, I mean different addresses. Now try to add Jaffa dot append of 219 and print what is Jaffa, run. Look at here. When I change the perform the copy with this copy method, then when you try to append the Jaffa list, then only Jaffa list has been updated. Now again, now if I try to append Jaffa with 984, now run. Look at here, 984 only updated in the Jaffa, but not on Jaffa. This is called as the shallow copy, which means both the lists are different, but the original list is copied into the new list. That is the example I have taken. Nigam Bannu, copying, then trying to append. Whenever copy method used to copy one list into the another list, then it doesn't show its effect on the other when the original list is modified. That is, when I try to change the Jaffa, nothing happened to the Jaffa. Like this, when I try to change the Jaffa, nothing happened to the Jaffa. So that is called as a copy method, which is the main advantage for performing the shallow copy of the list. In this video, I am going to discuss about how to remove elements of a list in Python. What are the different functions available to us for removing list elements? Various examples on removing list elements. First, how to remove list elements in Python. So removing a list elements means deleting the elements from the list, or deleting a list completely, or making a list empty. So you can remove a single element from the list, or multiple elements from the list, or we can remove a list also. So what are the different predefined functions are having to remove the list elements in Python? So in Python we have different functions for removing the list elements. Some of them are pop, remove, clear, del. So pop method, remove method, clear method, as well as del. So these are the different options we have for removing the elements of a list. Before going to know about that four types, so these are some crazy things. How can we remove elements of the list? First one is reinitializing the list to empty. What does this mean? That is, when we create a list with some elements. So look into example here. So I will take a list named Zumba with elements 9, 25, 36, 44. Now if I try to print what are the elements in my list, then I am going to get the elements which are available in my list. So if I want to remove all the elements in this list, simply what I will do is I will initialize my list with the empty. Then if I try to print Zumba, then the list becomes empty. This is a small crazy thing what we can do to remove the elements of a list. Simply assigning an empty list to the variable name Zumba. So that is reinitializing the list to empty. So reinitializing the list with no value or empty brackets. So this is the syntax. That is, whatever the list you want to make it as an empty, then simply give the list name and assign it with the square braces. Another one crazy thing is there, that is multiplying the list with 0. So one of the crazy thing what we can do is, for example, I have a list called Kimpu of 25, 69, 48, 33. Now if I try to print Kimpu of 2, then I am going to get 0, 1, 2. So I got the 48. It's good, but if I do that, Kimpu equal to Kimpu into 0. Then if I try to print Kimpu, that what I have done is, Kimpu is a list, I have multiplied this list with the 0. Look at here. Obviously all the elements have been left and an empty list has been repeated. That is, multiply the list with the 0. List name equal to existing list name into the 0. That means all the elements will be removed. These are some crazy things. First one, pop. The name itself tells that popping up. So popping up means removing the element at a specified index of the list. So if you want to remove an element at the specified index, that is any position, then you can use a method called pop method. So with this function or with this method, how many elements we can remove? Only one element at a time. We can remove only one element at a time. What is the syntax? Simple. List name dot pop, and what is the index of the element to be removed? Index of the element to be removed. So typing mistake here. So whatever the index you want to remove, that index have to be passed here. Now let us take that Kufli as 25, 36, 59, 14, 69, 28. Now if I try to print Kufli, then we are going to get the 25, 36, 59, 14, 69, 28. Good. Now I want to remove 69. So what is the index of 69? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I will do is Kufli dot pop of my position. Then look at here, out, 69 has been removed. Now if I try to print Kufli, look at here, there is no 69 between 14 and 28. That is the thing. So if you want to remove any element at a particular index position, then we have to use a method called pop method. Now I will tell you one other thing. What will happen? What will happen if you don't pass the index? Now, before going to do that operation, let's look into that. What is there in the Kufli list? 25, 36, 59, 14, 28. Now, if I do that, Kufli.pop. So, here I am not passing the index as a parameter. Now somebody will think that we are going to raise an error in this particular operation, but it's wrong. That is, if we don't pass any parameter to the pop method, then by default it is going to consider the, or it is going to remove the last element of the list. Look at here. Look at here. 28 has been removed. Now if I try to print the Kufli, 25, 36, 59, 14. Here, when I use the pop without any parameter, the last element is going to be removed automatically. So this is the example I have taken. If you don't define or specify the index of the element, then automatically the last element will be removed. This is done with the pop. Next, remove. Remove method is used to remove a specified element from the list. How many elements we can remove with this remove method is, we can remove only one element at a time. What is the syntax? So the syntax is same, that is listname dot remove, and what is the element to be removed? In pop method we have passed the index, that is based on the index position the element is going to be removed. In this remove method we are directly passing the which element to be removed instead of the index position. Let's take an example. This is the Kufli which I have in my list. Now I am going to take that Kufli dot remove of 59. 59 is an element in the Kufli. So when I run this one, okay, first of all I have to check whether it is available in the list or not. Kufli, sorry, Kufli is an empty list. I forgot. I will assign this one. Kufli equal to, yeah, print of Kufli. So this is the Kufli. Now I will try to remove the 59 from the Kufli. Run. Now if I try to print the Kufli list again, look at here, 59 is between 36 and 14, but for the 59 has been removed from the list. This is remove method which is used to remove the element directly without any indices. Then whatever the difference between the remove and pop, that is you are gonna see in this particular example. So whenever you use the Kufli.pop without any parameters, and if you try to print the Kufli, then the last element has been removed from the Kufli. But the same way, if you try to remove Kufli.remove and print, that is without passing any parameter, if you try to remove the element from the list, then you are going to get an error called type error. That is, remove method takes exactly one argument. That means this remove method should have to give one argument. That argument should be a element. So the remove method will result in type error if you don't define or specify the element to be removed. Next one, clear. The name itself tells that clear means clear out. So to remove all the elements of the list. So to remove any element, not only a single one element, two element, three element, entire list elements, we use a method called clear method. What is the syntax? Simple syntax, that is list name dot clear. So I will take that kapha equal to 98, 36, 54, 72, 28, 54, sorry 54 already, 51, equal to. Now I will print the kapha. Look at here, I got all the elements. So if I do that kapha dot clear, and if I try to print kapha, run, look at here, all the elements have been removed. That's the greatness of clear. Clear is used to remove all the elements of the list. But if you observe one point, it removed the elements, but the list, empty list has been returned. This you have to remember. That is, when you remove the elements with the help of this clear method, then all the elements will going to be removed and the list is going to be empty, but the list will not be deleted. Look at here, empty list. That means list is still available in your memory. The list structure, kapha means a list. Look at it, type of kapha, list, we got the list. That's the thing. So that's the beauty of the clear. That means it is going to remove all the elements, but it is not going to remove the respective list from the memory. Next one, del. Del is a keyword which is used to remove elements from a list. Either it may be an individual element, or it may be a range of element, or if you want to remove the entire list, we can use a keyword called del keyword. What are the different syntaxes? Because del not supporting only to the any one respective property such as individual element or a range of elements or the entire list. So we have different syntaxes. First, delete a respective element, we have to pass the index name, index number, sorry. Now again I will take that this list, I will take it as a jumbo. Now I will print my jumbo list and run. Yeah, I have all these elements in my jumbo list. Now if I want to remove 51, then I have to use the del keyword space jumbo of the index of this 51. What is the index of 51? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and print of jumbo. Look at here, 51 has been removed. This is deleting a single element. Now if you want to remove the range of elements, a range nothing but defines that a starting index as well as a stopping index. So if I write that del jumbo of 2:5 and then print of jumbo. Now what is the position of the 254? 3, 4, 5, run. Look at here, 98, 36 left in the our respective list. That is deleting a list name. Next, if you delete a list name directly, such as del space jumbo, run. Now print of jumbo, what it is going to return? Do you think is it going to return a empty list as same as the clear? No, it gives us error. That is, when you remove or when you delete any list by using a del keyword, then it is going to remove it directly from the memory itself. That's why it gives that name error, name jumbo is not defined. After removing all the elements, it will make that list be empty and that list will be deleted permanently. They are asking us for considering this list and performing these operations, which we have seen in here. That is deleting a respective index position and deleting a range of elements and deleting a list. So that is deleting the element at the 4th index and printing the list, deleting the elements from 2nd to 5th index. Next, deleting all the elements from the list and printing the list. So what we get, if delete the list and if you try to print, name error. Whenever del keyword is used to delete all the elements of the list, along with the elements, the list will also be deleted permanently from the memory. So these are the various operations or various methods we have for removing the elements of the list. In this video I am going to discuss about what are the basic operations on lists in Python, what are the different ways to perform these basic operations, examples on performing basic operations. First, like variables, Python lists also supports different operations. So these lists respond to the various operations such as concatenation, repetition, membership, iteration, maximum of a list, minimum of a list, length of the list, sorting, reverse. Like these things can be done with the help done on this list. Out of this, we are going to discuss about few of the ways to perform these basic operations. So to perform these operations, we have some functions as well as methods, such as for concatenation or joining, we can also say we have a symbol called plus symbol. For repetition, we have a symbol called asterisk. For membership, we have in, not in. Iteration, we can use in the loops. Length, we have a function called len. For maximum, we have a function called max. For minimum, we have a function called min. And for sorting, we have a function called sort. Now, first one, concatenation or join. What does this concatenation or join means? So adding up one or more lists, or we can simply say that concatenating two or more lists in the Python, that is adding up two lists and making it into a single list, that is called as the concatenation. What is the easiest way is by simply using the plus operator. So let us know the syntax. Before going to do this, okay, syntax is other than the plus operator. Before going to do that, so let us take a list ABC with these elements 1, 9, 22, 13, FGD equal to 6, 12, 14, mix equal to ABC plus FGD. That means we are performing the, or concatenating or joining the list 1 with the list 2. Then what we are going to get the answer. So let us execute this one. I am taking a list 1 equal to 9, 55, 63, 24, and I am taking list 2 equal to 36, 12, 29, 12. Okay, fine. I have taken list 1 and list 2. Now what will happen if I try to perform addition or joining of list 1 with list 2, or simply I will take another list called another variable, that is concat list equal to list 1 plus list 2. Now what will we are going to get in the concat list? When you perform addition operation, so list 1 plus list 2 means for the list 1, the remaining elements in the list 2 or the elements in the list 2 are going to be added at the ending. So the expected output is 9, 55, 63, 24, which are the elements of the list 1. Then the elements in the list 2 are going to be added at the ending. What are the elements? 36, 29, 12. Run. To get here, 9, 55, 63, 24, 36, 29, 12. This is what we have given here. That means when you try to concatenate or join two lists, then the second list elements are going to be added at the ending of the list 1. Now another question. What will happen if you try to add an integer to the a list? Let us try that. We have list 1, that is 955 63 24. So I will take that new li. What I am going to do is list 1 plus 10. Now if I try to print newly, now is the element 10 is going to be added to the list 1, or is it going to give the error? That is the most important thing. We got type error. That is, when you perform the addition or concatenation operation, a list can be concatenated only with the list, but not with the any integral value or any float value. That is type error. Can only concatenate list to list only, not to the integer. So if you try to add a normal integer or a float value to a list, then it will give an error of type error. This is the key point. Next, multiplication or repetition. Now if you want to repeat the same list multiple times or repeat the same elements multiple times in the list, then we can use an operator called multiplication or repetition operator. Example, now ABC is a list which consists of 1, 9, 22, 13. So if I take the another variable as DDG equal to ABC into 3, then what we are going to get? So ABC means this is a list into an integer. We are going to get that the same list 3 times. So let us take another one. ADP equal to 1, 9, 12, 3. Now BBQ equal to ADP into 3. Now what it is going to print BBQ? Look at here, 1, 9, 12, 3 into 3. That means it is going to print that 1, 9, 12, 3. How many times it is going to print? It is going to print 3 times. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Run. Look at here. 1, 9, 12, 3 one time. 1, 9, 12, 3 second time. 1, 9, 12, 3 third time. That means, so 1, 9, 22, 13. 1, 9, 22, 13. 1, 9, 22, 13. 1, 9, 22, 13. Now, what will happen if we try to multiply a list with another list? Let us take this ADP, same ADP. First print the ADP, what we have the elements. Yeah, 1, 9, 12, 3 are the elements. Now I will take a list called Bannu ADP into ADP. Now you will think that there are 4 elements and 4 elements multiplied with the 4 elements, 16 elements. But it is wrong. That is, it is going to give the error, because when you perform multiply sequence, then it should be done only with the integral value. No other type of values are accepted. That means a list can be multiplied only with the integer number. Can't multiply sequence by non-integer of type list. So if you try to multiply a list with another list, it is going to give you the error called type error. Next, membership operator. This operator is used to check whether an element is present in the list or not. It gives the output in the boolean value, that is true or false only, because if we check whether a number is available in the list or not, it will say that yes, it is available, that is true. If it is not available, it will say that no, not available, that means false. So the syntax is a search element. The element which we want to search should be in operator and the list name, or we have the another membership operator called not in. Search element, not in, list name. So these are the two ways. So this in will give the true when the element is available. Then this not in will give the true when the element is not available. Let us take the example. So here 1, 9, 22, 13. 4 elements are there in the list ABC. 9 not in ABC. 9 will be compared with one first element. 9 equal to 1. No. 9 equal to 9. Yes. That means 9 not in ABC. It is wrong. So it will give the answer as false. Now another list DDG. DDG have some elements 29, 33, 12. 33 in DDG. That means 33 will compare with 29. It is false. 33 equal to 33. Yes, it is true. So 33 in DDG is true. Let us execute our variables. Now I am going to take the same ADP. I will try to print whether what the elements are there. 1, 9, 12, 3. Now I will try to print 55 in ADP. Is 55 in ADP? 55 equal to 1? No. 55 equal to 9? No. 55 equal to 12? No. 55 equal to 3? No. So the expected answer is false. False. Now print of 3 in ADP. So 3 in ADP means the 3 will be compared with all the elements. That is when until the element found. Otherwise it will search out to the ending of the list. 1 not equal, 9 not equal, 12 not equal, 3. Yes, 3 is equal to 3. It will return the answer as 2. Yes. Now I will check that print 55 not in ADP. 55 not in ADP. 55 not equal to 1, 55 not equal to 9, 55 not equal to 12, 55 not equal to 3. Yes, 55 is not available in the list. So that means the expected answer is 2. Now print of 3 not in. 3, so 3 not equal to 1, false. Sorry, true. 3 not equal to 9, true. 3 not equal to 12, true. 3 not equal to 3, false. That means 3 is in the ADP. So the answer will be the false. Yes, false. This is membership operator. Next, iteration. So in list, iteration is used to traverse through the elements of the list. That is, if you want to traverse to the entire list, then we can use this iteration. Iterations are nothing but the loops. It can be done using the index number and mainly used in the loops. So program to print all the elements of the list. Now I have the list ADP, print of ADP. I will run. Yes, I have 1, 9, 12, 3. So to print all the elements of the list one by one, for I in ADP, print of I. For the first iteration I becomes the 1. So 1 will be printed. In the second iteration I becomes 9. So 9 will be printed. For the third iteration I becomes the 12. So 12 will be printed. For the fourth iteration I becomes the 3. 3 will be printed. 1, 9, 12, 3. So this is iteration. So for I in list. Next, program to perform sum of all the elements of the list. Now I want to perform addition of all these things. For that, what I have to do? First I have to take sum equal to 0 for I in ADP, sum equal to sum plus I. Why? Because initially sum value is 0, I value is nothing but the first 0th index, second time first index, that is 9 value, third time 12, fourth time 3. Now I will print that sum. 1, 9, 12, 3 means 1 plus 9 10, 10 plus 12 22, 22 plus 3 25. Yes, 25. That is the way we have to perform the sum of all the elements of the list. Now how can we add elements to an empty list? Such as if I take the empty list equal to empty, how can I add elements to this list? So for I in range of some 6 means it is going to take up to the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total how many elements? 6 elements. What I am going to do is x equal to int of input of enter value. So I am going to do that empty underscore list dot append of. Now I am going to print the empty underscore list. Run the program. Enter value 25. Again it is asking me, that is for the 0th iteration the x value what I entered is going to be stored into the 0th position of the empty list. Next I am going to store the null. So for the first iteration, I mean whenever the I value becomes 1, the value entered at the x is going to appended after the 25. Then 55, 49, 36, 78. Look at here, 25, 12, 55, 49, 36, 78. So this is the way we can add the elements to an empty list. Next, length in the list. How to find the length of a list? To find the length of a list, simply we have a function called length function. Length function is used to find the length of the list. It will count all the elements of the list including the duplicate values. Syntax, length of list name. Now what is our list? Empty list. So if I try to print empty list, I am going to get these things. Now if I try to print the length of empty list, length of empty list means 1 element, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means the length of the list is 6. So length of list is 6. 6 elements, total 6 elements. So length function is used to find the length of the list. Next, maximum. Maximum in list is used to find the maximum element of the list. Syntax is max of list name. Now we are having these numbers in a different order. Now what I am going to do is I am going to empty dot underscore list dot append of some 1. Then I am going to append 14 and I am going to append 31. Run. Okay, I have appended all these elements. Now if I run that one, empty list, I am going to get all these elements. So if I want to find out the maximum of the list, I no need to verify each and every element every time. Simply what I can do is I can write that max of my list name. My list name is empty list. 25, 12, 55, 49, 36, 78, 1, 14, 31. So 78 is the max. So max of list. Run. So max of list is the 78. Now I have a doubt. A list not only holds the integer values, it might hold the what we call float values also. Now if I want to append list dot append of 98.56, okay, fine. If I try to add the 8.56, if I try to add the 52.35, okay, now I will print the empty list. Run. Look at here, all the elements are there in the previous one and new elements have been appended. Now if you try to find the maximum of the list, so run 98.56, it is also good. Now another doubt is there for me, that is a list can hold the strings also. If I pass the life, if I pass the LiYO, if I pass the Python, run. Okay, so print the list. We got everything. Now if I try to print the maximum of the list, what I am going to get? Simply error, because it will work only if the list is consisting of integer or float values. If a list consists of integer or float values, then only it is going to give the maximum element. Other than that, if any string or character is available in the list, then it is going to return the type error. Type error. Minimum. Min function is used to find the minimum element of the list. Syntax is min of fixed name. Now I am going to do the pop. So emt underscore list or dot pop. 3 times I have done the doing the pop. Now if I run the list, now I am going to get only the integer and float values. Now if I try to print the min of empt list, that is my list name, run. Now look at here, 1 is the minimum value. I got that. Now what will happen if we try to append this one, and if you try to find the minimum of, first of all I will append, then I will try to find the minimum. Again it will also say that error. That is, if it will, minimum function will only work with a list consisting of the integer or float values. Other than these values such as string or character, it is going to return the type error. Now sorting. Sorting elements in the Python is very easiest one, that is, we can sort a list by using a method called sort method. That means if you use the sort method without having any parameters, then by default we are going to sort the elements in the ascending order. Now again I will pop these elements, last strings from the list, and then I will try to print the list. What is there in my list? Verify. Now run. Look at here, I have all the values. Now I want to sort this list. How can I sort? Is simply list name. What is my list name? Empt underscore list dot sort. Run. I have to run this one. Then I have to print the list name. Empt underscore list. Run. Look at here, all the elements have been sorted. Now you will have a doubt that, so what will happen if you append this one or list, and if you try to run, yes, everything appended. Now what will it will happen if you sort again? My list name dot sort. Run. Type error. Here also one more point is, the sorting will also perform the sorting. By default, if you don't pass any parameter to the sort method, it will sort in the ascending order until and unless if it consists of the only integer and float values. If any strings or characters are there in that list, it is not going to consider. That is the one of the most important thing we have to remember. Next, sort method will also perform the sorting in the descending order. How it is going to sort in the descending order means, a sort method takes a parameter called reverse equal to true. So I will pop these things again. Now I have this list. Now I want to sort that list into the descending order. So list name dot sort, and what is the parameter I have to pass? Reverse equal to true. Run. Yes, we have completed. Print of list name. Run. Look at here, all the elements have been sorted in the descending order. Here also one more thing is, reverse sorting will also be accepted only if the values are in the integer or float values. If it consists of the character or string values, it is not going to be accepted. In this video I am going to discuss about different ways of reversing a list in Python and examples. Different ways of reversing a list in Python. You think that reversing a list is not at all a biggest thing, but in our Python we have different ways to reverse a list. So in short form we can say that there are three ways. But another way is also there, which is an optional one, that is the manual. So first one is using a method called reverse, using list slicing trick, using reverse iterator with the reversed built-in function. And the last one is a manual method, which we cannot say that it is a separate way, but I am telling that one also, that is using loops. First one, reversing a list using the reverse method. So the reverse method reverses the elements of the list. Whatever the elements of the list are there, those elements are going to be reversed with the help of a method called reverse method. Syntax: simply the list name, whatever the list name we consider, that list dot reverse, then automatically all the elements of the list are going to be reversed. Let us take an example. So I have the Kumbli equal to a list with 25, 38, 12, 45, 15. Now if I try to print Kumbli, then I am going to get 25, 38, 12, 45, 15. Now using the reverse method, Kumbli dot reverse, run. Now if you try to print Kumbli, look at here, the last element turned out to the first, then proceedings on 45 preceded by 12, and then 38, then 25. This is one of the way with reversing the elements of a list, that is by using a method called reverse method. So example, consider the list student name Ram, Som, Bim, Kim. So print the reverse of the list, simply student name dot reverse. So print student name, we are going to get the reverse of the list. Next, reversing a list using a list slicing trick. In the previous slicing video, we have seen that how to slice a list in multiple ways. So by using a trick in that slicing, we can do the reverse. That is, so Python's list objects have an interesting feature called slicing. It is an extension of the square braces indexing syntax. So when you slice a list with the without having any starting index, stopping index, simply the step size as -1, then it is going to produce the reversed copy. So I will take that Jaffa equal to 96, 12, 55, 48, 39. Now if I print Jaffa, then I am going to get 96, 12, 55, 48, 39. Now if I print Jaffa of -1, run. Look at here, 39 came to the first one, 48 came to second, 55 in the third, 12 into the fourth, 96 in the fifth element. So this means Jaffa of without having any start index, stop index, if you do the step size as -1, then obviously it is going to reverse the elements of the list. So same thing, student name, I am having a list with the Ram, Som, Bim, Kim. If I do that without having any start size and stop size, and if I try to access the elements with the step size -1, then I am going to get it as the Kim, Bim, Som, Ram. That is nothing but reverse. Next one is reversing a list using reverse iterator with a built-in function called reversed. Now it neither reverse a list in place nor does it create a full copy. It doesn't reverse a list in place, and also it doesn't going to create any other full copies. So what it is going to do is, instead we get a reverse iterator which can use to cycle through the elements of the list in reverse order. That means the elements of the lists are going to be accessed in the reverse order. That means the elements are going to access one after one, one after one, one after one. Then how we can convert that one into the list? Simply we can typecast, that is list of reversed of list name. Then it is going to print the reversed order. Now let us take Juju equal to 9, 12, 33. Now if we try to print reversed of Juju without typecasting, what it is going to do? Run. Now list reverse iterator object at some hexadecimal address has been written. So that means the element is going to access from the last element, then before element, then at the ending the ninth element. So to get that in the list format, what we have to do is we have to typecast into the list typecasting. Now look at here, 33, 12, 9. So we can give that a new list Gundu equal to list of reversed of Juju. Then if I try to print Juju and then if I print Gundu, then what we are going to get is this is the original list Juju and the reverse list Gundu is the 33, 12, 9. This is another way of reversing a list using the reverse iterator. Here it is not going to reverse a list in place, or it is not going to take any full copy. It is just accessing the elements in the reverse order, which we are going to convert it into the list type. That is the example. Next one is the reversing a list using the manual loops, that is writing a program. So we can simply using a loop we can reverse a list. Now I will take that Munbi equal to 99, 42, 55, 67, 12, 88, 54. Now I want to reverse this list. To reverse this list, what I am going to do is I am going to take an empty list. New Munbi equal to empty list. Now for I in range of length of, what is our list name? Munbi. Length of Munbi means the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means range of 7. It starts at the 7, and if I take as the -1, that is my range, that is ending up to -1, and the step size as -1, then -1. That means starts at 7, then 7 minus 1, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That means it will go up from 7 to 0. But how many elements are there? 7 elements. But basically the list indices starts from the positive indices 0 onwards. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means if you take the length of Munbi, then it is going to start from 7. That's why what we have to do, we have to take from the -1. Then it is going to take from 6, -1, -1. That means it will start at this 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Why? Because -1, whenever the element comes into the stop value is -1, -1, minus again -1, then it is going to take in as the +0. Sorry, I haven't kept the colon. Now what I am going to do is I am going to take a temp variable equal to whatever the element I am going to get, Munbi of I. First of all, Munbi of I means Munbi of 6. This element is going to store in the temp. Then what I am going to do is I am going to append that new temp value, new Munbi dot append of temp value, that is whatever the 6th position element, Munbi of 6, none other than 4. 54 is going to be stored in the temp first. Then it is going to be Initialize with the 54. Then the loop iterates 5. That is Munbi of 5. Munbi of 5 means 88. 88. 88 is going to be assigned to temp. So temp is going to be appended to new Munbi. So 54 comma 88. Then 12. Then 67. Then 55. Then 42. And then the last 99. Now after that what I will do is else print of new Munbi. Run. Look at here. 54, 88, 12, 67, 55, 42, 99. That is nothing but the reverse of a list, of the Munbi list. So this is one of the way. So in this video I have covered the different ways of reversing a list. That is, one is the reverse method, another one is the reversing using a list slicing trick. Next, reverse iterator, and by using the loop. So these are the examples also. Back to our channel. In this video I am going to discuss about what is a matrix, how to create matrices using lists, how to access matrix elements, and different examples. First of all, what is a matrix? We know that a matrix is nothing but which is used to store our data in the format of rows as well as the columns. So a matrix is a two-dimensional data structure where our elements are arranged into the rows as well as the columns. In Python, we don't have any built-in types for the matrices. However, we can treat these matrices as the nested list. What do you mean by a nested list? A nested list is nothing but a list which consists its elements as the list. So that is a list. A list inside the another list is called as the nested list. How to create matrices using lists? Just now we have seen that Python doesn't have any built-in types. That means we must and should have to create a list where all the elements of those lists should be the again lists. So matrices are the multi-dimensional lists. So using nested lists we can create a matrix which will be work for simple computational tasks. This is a structure. This is a list name. So a list has been started where each and every sublist is a row. A sublist is nothing but a row where each and sublist is separated by the comma until the ending sublist comes into the picture. Now the element in the rows are called as the columns. This is column 1, this is column 2. So these are the columns. The sublists are called as the rows. Example of a matrix structure. Let us consider an example of this one. So this matrix consists of row 1, row 2, row 3. That means 3 rows, column 1, column 2, column 3 and column 4. That means 4 columns. That's why it is called as a matrix of 3 by 4. That means 3 rows and 4 columns. How to access matrix elements? To access matrix elements in our Python, we have two ways. One is we can access a complete sublist or a complete row. A complete sublist is nothing but a row. That row can be accessed directly. Another one is accessing an individual element, which can be done by using the nested indexing. Let us consider an example. So this is the example which we have taken in the previous one. Now this is row 0, this is row 1, this is row 2. Let us assume my matrix name as DJ. So this first one is the row 0, this one is row 1, this one is row 2. Now if I want to access the above matrix in a row wise, that is entire sublist wise manner, that is accessing a complete sublist or a row, then simply how can I write is this one list name square braces followed by the index number. That means dj of 0 gives you the entire sublist. This entire sublist. dj of 1 gives this entire sublist. So dj of 2 gives this entire sublist. Let us take an example and try this one. I'm going to take a matrix called mat. So the first row of my matrix is 11, 33, 55. Second row of my matrix is 44, 56, 88. And third row of my matrix is 29, 34, 53. That's it. I am going to print this matrix mat. Run. Look at here. A matrix, sorry, a list which consists of the another list as an element. This type of this type of lists are called as the matrices. Now if I want to access this row 44, 66, 88, then I have to give that print of my matrix name is mat and the index of this 44, 66, 88 is 1. Run. Yes, we got 44, 66, 88. Now if I want to access 11, 33, 55 list, the index of this list is the 0. Yes. Now if I want to access 29, 34, 53, then the index of this list is the 2. 2. Yes, we got this one. So if you try to print the entire matrix, we are going to get like this. So this is accessing a matrix in a row-wise manner. Next one is accessing individual elements. To access this individual element, that is, for example, if I want to access 29, what is the index of this matrix? 2 is the index of that matrix. So print of our list name followed by outer matrix, outer list. What is our outer list means? The outer list is this list. Second indexing followed by what is the index position of 29 in this list? 0. So second element in the main list and the 0th element in the respective sublist. Then if you run this one, yes, we got 29. So dj of 0, 0, first row, first element, 0, 1, first row, second element, 0, 2, first row, third element, 0, 3, first row, fourth element. Now if I will print again without scrolling every time. Now I want to access 55. How can I access? Print of mat. Now what is the index position of this sublist? 0 is the index position of that sublist, followed by what is the index of 55? 2. Then 2. Yes, we got the 55. This is the way we can do. Now these are the sample example. Now is it possible to create a dynamic matrix in our Python? Yes, it is possible. First of all, let us take the number of rows. Rows equal to int of input of enter number of rows you want. How many rows you want? You can take into the integer. Then number of columns. Enter number of columns. So I am taking into the calls. I have taken number of rows, number of columns. Now I am going to take a matrix called A equal to empty. That means if I try to print the A matrix now, I am going to get the empty matrix. But basically we have seen in the previous example, a matrix means a list which consists of the sublist. That means the sublists are nothing but the number of rows. Sublists are nothing but the number of rows. So for I in range of rows, so if I take the rows as 3, let us assume that if I take rows equal to 3, that means my I will be rotated up to the range of 3. So that means my loop will be iterated up to 0, 1, 2. That means 3 times. Every time what I am going to do is I am taking an empty list called temp and I am appending that to the sorry, temp. A dot append of temp. This empty list is going to be appended to the matrix A because for the 0th iteration I am inserting or appending an empty list because a matrix is nothing but the a list which consists of the sublist. Here how many rows we are taking? 3 rows. That's why for I in range of rows I am going to insert that many times empty list. Now let us print A. First of all, let us try this one. Run. Number of rows 3, columns 3. Look at here. First 0th row, first row, second row has been created. Now, after creating the number of rows, we have to insert the elements for I in range of rows. That is first 0th row. Every 0th row for I in j in range of columns. Every row we have the number of columns in the calls. What I am going to do is I am going to take tt equal to int of input of enter value. So what are the value I want to store? I am going to take it into the tt and then I am going to append the tt into the a of I dot append of tt. Now number of rows we have taken that 3, range of 3. That means 0th row, first row, then second row. Then how many columns? Range of, yeah, I will take that row calls equal to 2. Okay, I will take calls equal to 2. Range of 2. Range of 2 means 0, 1. So, whenever the first iteration comes into the picture, I value becomes 0. Then j value, whenever the inner loop executes, first time 0. So, tt equal to int, that is an integer whatever the value I enter like 26. Then 26 is going to append into a of what is I value? 0 dot append of 26. That means this is the 0th in sublist. For that 0th sublist, you are going to append the 26. So the first 0, 0, 0, 0 is going to append with the 26. Then next, j value becomes 1. So it is again asking me to enter the input. So I will enter 36. So a of 0 dot append of 36. Append of 36. That means a of 0 dot append of 36 means already 26 is there. After 26, 36 will be added. Now there are no more values to be iterated in the 0 jth columns. Now it comes to the outer loop. I value becomes 1. That means again 2 elements that are going to be inserted into the first index. After inserting in the first index, such as a of 1 dot append of 45, a of 1 dot append of 58. That means 45, 58 appended here. Then again comes to the outer loop. Then I value becomes 2. Again 2 elements. A of 2 dot append of 33. A of 2 dot append of 99. So 33, 99. Finally, the matrix will come to the 3. So do we have the range 3? No. So simply it comes out. If I print the what is my matrix there, then I am going to get that estimated output. It is a list with the sublist, first sublist, second sublist, third sublist. First one consists of the 26, 36. Second one 45, 58. Then third one 33, 99. Run. So 3 rows, 2 columns. Now I have to enter 6 elements. 26, 36. They are inserted into the 0th, this one, 0th element. Then 45, 58, 3399. Look at here. So this is as same as this one. A list. This one is the list, and that list having the some sublists. They are the elements of that list. So this is the creation of a matrix in our Python using the nested loops. So some of the example related to the Python matrices using nested lists are addition of two matrices, transpose of a matrix. We have the subtraction also, same subtraction, and the most important one, multiplication of two matrices. So these examples I will discuss in the next video. Welcome back to our channel. In this video I am going to discuss about various matrix operations such as matrix addition using nested list, transpose of a matrix, and matrix multiplication using nested lists. First, what are the rules for matrix addition? To perform matrix addition, we must and should have to follow some rules. The first one is rows of the matrix A should be equal to the rows of matrix B. For example, if my matrix A is having 2 by 3, that means 2 rows and 3 columns, and my matrix B is 3 by 3, then addition not possible, because to perform matrix addition, then that matrices should have, both the matrices should have the same number of rows. Second rule is the columns of matrix A should have the equal to the columns of matrix B. That means columns of matrix A should be equal to the columns of matrix B. So to perform addition of A and B, both the matrices should have the same number of rows as well as the same number of columns. Next, what is the output of the addition of these two matrices? If a matrices, both the matrices are having the same number of rows as well as the same number of columns, then output is also the rows of any matrix plus columns of any matrix. So that is, the output is also the 2 by 3. So these are the some of the basic rules we have to check while doing the programming matrix addition. Now let us start taking the matrix A as empty list, because in Python the matrices are represented with the two-dimensional sublists. Now matrix B, this is matrix B. I am going to take the matrix addition, that is result matrix, into the empty list. Now first and foremost, what we have to do, for each and every matrix we have to enter the number of rows as well as the number of columns. For that, matrix A rows equal to integer of input of enter rows in matrix A. So I have entered the number of rows I want in the matrix A. Then next one is the columns in the matrix A. Next, after entering the rows in the matrix A, then I have columns. After that, matrix B rows, matrix B columns. Why? Because for each and every matrix we have the number of rows and columns. Rows, columns, rows, columns. Now what we have to check? We have to check whether the matrix A rows and matrix B rows are same or not. How can we are going to check is, if matrix A rows not equal to matrix B rows, and columns of matrix A should be equal to the columns of matrix B, and matrix A columns not equal to matrix B columns. So I will take this one into the parentheses. So what we are doing, we are checking whether the rows of matrix A is equal to the rows of matrix B as well as columns of matrix A equal to the columns of matrix B. So if anything is wrong, then we are going to get the answer as false. That means matrix addition not possible. Not possible. Let us try up to this one. Now enter the rows of matrix A. 2. Columns in matrix A. 3. Rows in matrix B. 3. Columns in matrix B. 3. If A rows not equal to B rows and A columns not equal to B columns, then matrix addition not possible. It's correct. 2, 3, 3, 3. 2 rows, 3 rows, 3 rows. A columns not equal to B columns. Yes, it is correct. Okay, after writing the else, we can check. Else, what I am going to do, we have to enter the sublist, that is rows into the matrix A. To create the rows in the matrix, what we can do is, what is the number of rows in the matrix A? A rows. Number of rows in the matrix B? B rows. So what I am going to do is, for I in range of A rows, for matrix A, what I am going to do, I have to create the number of sublists here. So that is, I am going to do that matrix A dot append of empty list. So the number of rows are nothing but the number of sublists. That number of sublists are going to be appended into the matrix A. Now after matrix A, we have to append for the matrix B. For I in range of matrix B rows, we have to append the matrix B dot append of empty list. Now let us try to print what is there in the matrix A and matrix B. Run. 2, 2, 2, 2. Look at here. So 2 rows have been created in the matrix A, 2 rows have been created in the matrix B. So number of rows have been created. Now next condition, the output matrix should have the rows of matrix A as well as the columns of matrix B. That means simply what we can do, for I in range of A rows, because A rows and B rows should be same for performing the matrix addition. Matrix, I have taken it as the add of dot append of empty list. That means if you have the 2 rows and if you have the 2 rows in the matrix B, the resultant matrix will also have the 2 rows, that is A rows or B rows. So we have created the matrices and their rows into the matrices. Next thing is, we have to enter the elements into the matrices. Enter elements into matrices. To enter elements in the matrices, for I in range of A rows, that is for A matrix, for each and every row there will be having the respective number of columns. That means those much of elements. For J in range of A columns, that is for each and every row in the matrix A, we have the same number of columns as per this A calls. So for 0th row, that means this one, for 0th row we have 2 elements, for first row we have 2 elements. For that purpose we are using the nested loops. Then again after that I am taking the CT equal to int of input of enter matrix A value, that is I am taking for every column I am taking an input and I am appending that input to the respective sublist. What is the index of this matrix sublist? It is nothing but the matrix A of 0, that is nothing but I dot append of TT. Let's run this one. 2 3 3 2. Matrix addition not possible. Run. 2 3 2 3. Now 2 3 means 2 rows 3 columns in matrix A. How many elements? 6 elements. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, I haven't printed. I will print the matrix A. Print of matrix A. Run. Look at here. First row with the 3 elements, second row with the 3 elements. That's the 2 rows, 3 columns. So we have entered the matrix A elements. Next, same thing, matrix B elements. So here matrix B, what we have to take? We have to take the elements from the B rows, B columns and B value, and here matrix B. So we are entering the matrix A and matrix B elements. Print matrix A is comma matrix A. Now after entering the matrix B elements, I am displaying the matrix B also. Matrix B is matrix B. Now what we are going to do? We are going to perform the addition of elements. To perform the addition of elements, the result is matrix A rows as well as the matrix B columns, or we can take the matrix B rows, matrix A columns. Why? Because rows of matrix A should be equal to the rows of matrix B. Columns of matrix A should be equal to the columns of matrix B. So rows of matrix A are matrix B, columns of matrix A are matrix B. So that is logic for addition of two matrices. I in range of A rows for J in range of B columns, because A columns are B columns, both are same. Now what I am going to do? I am going to do that yes, equal to A of ij, that is matrix A of ij plus matrix B of ij. So 0 1, initial I value is 0, j value is 0, 0 0 element of A, 0 0 element of B, both have been added. Now this value have to be appended to the matrix addition of index position I, that is 0th sublist dot append of S. So print addition of A and B is comma matrix add. Run. 1 2 1 2, that means, so okay, 1 3 I will take. Run. Sorry, stop. Run. So 2 rows 3 columns, 2 rows 3 columns. So let us take that 2 rows 3 columns. A equal to, so 2 rows, so first row, second row, I will take that 1 comma 2 comma 3 4 comma 5 comma 6. Then B equal to, again another sublist, row 1 row 2. I am going to take this 7 8 9 10 11 12. Now A plus B is equal to, what it is going to do? First, this is number of rows and number of columns. 0 0 is going to be added with this 0 0. 1 plus 7, obviously 8. Next 2 plus 8, 10 will be appended. Then 3 plus 9, 12 will be appended. 4 plus 10, 14 will be appended in the 1 0. 5 plus 11, 16. Then 6 plus 12, 18. So the answer is 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at here. Matrix A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As it is. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Matrix B is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Addition of A and B is 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. That is the concept of matrix addition in Python using the list. Next one, transpose. Transpose of a matrix. Or I will go with multiplication. Multiplication of two matrices. So to perform the multiplication of two matrices, we must and should have to take the same thing up to this one. Matrix A empty, matrix B empty, matrix multiplication, number of rows, number of columns in matrix A, number of rows and number of columns in matrix B. To perform matrix multiplication, we must and should follow some rules. The first and foremost is the columns of matrix A should have the as same as the rows of matrix B. Then next one is the output matrix will give the rows of matrix A plus columns of matrix B. Let us look into the example. So if we have the matrix A as the 2 by 3, matrix B as 2 by 3, then if you try to multiply A into B, multiplication is not possible. Why? Because the columns of matrix A is 3, the rows of matrix B is 2. So to perform the matrix multiplication, columns of matrix A should be as same as the rows of matrix B, but here they are different. That's why it gives the multiplication not possible. Now if both of them are having the 2 by 3 and 3 by 3, then A by A into B, is it possible? Yes, it is possible, because 3 columns and 2 rows both are same in the matrix A and matrix B. That's why A and B, A multiplied by B is possible. Then what will be the result? The output will be rows in the column. That means 2 rows, and the columns will be in the matrix B. 2 by 3 is the respective answer. That is said that columns of matrix A should be as same as the rows of matrix B, and the output matrix will be the rows of matrix A plus columns of matrix B. Now let us go for the programming. We have taken A rows, A columns, B rows, B columns. If what is the logic we have taken? We have taken that if A columns not equal to B rows, because A column should be equal to the B rows. If not equal means obviously we are going to get that print matrix multiplication not possible. Now let us try up to this one. 2 rows, 3 columns, 2 rows, 3 columns. Matrix multiplication not possible. So it is clear. Now what will happen if we have given the perfect one? Then what we have to do? We have to create the sublist in the matrix. Just now we have seen, that is, to creating the sublist we use this one. So I am going to copy the same thing and I am pasting here. I am creating the sublist in the matrices, matrix A, matrix B, here matrix mul. Now let us try to print the matrix A, mat A, then matrix B, then matrix multiplication. But here you have to remember that the rows of matrix B. Good. Now, what is the output of the matrix A into B? Nothing but the rows are from the matrix A rows only. That's why I have taken the A underscore rows for the mat multiplication. Run. 2 rows, 3 columns. 2 rows, 3 columns. Matrix multiplication not possible because 3, 2 both are different. Run. 2, 3, 3, 2. Look at here. 2 rows, 3 columns. 3 rows, 2 columns. The output is 2 by 2. 2 rows, 2 columns. That means it is fine. Perfectly alright. Now what we have to do? We have to enter the elements into the matrices. Yes, it is not at all a big deal. Entering the elements. Just simply copy. I am pasting here. So for I in range of A rows, A columns, entering the element and appending into the 0th sublist matrix A. Then matrix B has been added. So we got the matrix A as well as the matrix B. Now we have done everything. Now the main logic, that is matrix multiplication. Now to perform the matrix multiplication, what we have to do is, so we have to go from the rows of matrix A to the columns of matrix B. That is, for I in range of matrix A rows, for J in range of matrix B columns. So how many times the inner loop have to be iterated? Number of rows in the matrix A or number of columns in the, number of columns in the matrix A or number of rows in the matrix B. That is, for K in range of, what is this one? A underscore columns. A underscore columns. What I am going to do is, I am going to take the M equal to M plus A of IK into B of AJ. So initially I am taking M equal to 0. Now what does this mean? Why I have taken like this? So yeah, where is this matrix A? This one. So A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B equal to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, if you want to perform the matrix multiplication, this row should be multiplied with the, first element should be multiplied with the row and column wise. Row and column wise. I will draw in the paint. A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then B equal to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have taken here the matrix of A is the 2 rows and 3 columns. Matrix B is the 3 rows, 2 columns. Good. Here this is the 7, 8. Nine, 10. Yes. 11, 12. This one. Now this first row is going to be multiplied and added by the each and every element. That means 1 into 7, 0 into 0 into 0 0. That is A of IK 0 0 into 0 0, and I am taking the value as 0. That's why I am storing into the M. Now after that, 1 into 7, What we are doing after 1 into 7? We are adding 2 into 9. 2 into 9. Then after that I am adding 3 into 11. So initially m equal to 0 plus a of ik, b of kj. Initially I value is 0, j 0, k 0. So 0 0, nothing but 1 into 7. So 7 we are going to get into the m. In the second iteration, what I am telling, a k value becomes the 1. That is 0 1 1 0. This is 0th row first element. This is first row 0th element. So m equal to, recently we got the m value as 7. So 7 plus 2 into 9. We are getting 18. So equal to 25. Now after that, again a value will be incremented. 2. So recently what is the m value? 25 plus 0 to 20. 0th row second element into second row 0th element. 2 into 11, that is 33, equal to 58. Isn't this the same as this one? 1 into 7 7 plus 2 into 9 18 8, 2 into 9 18 plus 3 into 11 33. So 33 18 51 plus 7 58. For that purpose I have taken m equal to m plus a of ik into b of kj. Now this entire m value have to be appended into the matrix multiplication of 0th row dot append of m. After every element has been appended, m value will be turned out to 0. Now print of matrix multiplication is comma mat mul. Run. 2 rows 3 columns, 3 rows 2 columns. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 2 rows 3 columns. Now matrix B is the 3 rows 2 columns. 7 8 9 10 11 12. Look at here, 7 8 9 10 11 12. Sorry, a small mistake. M plus this one not matrix A, mat A, mat B. That is the problem. Again 2 3 3 2, A value 1 2 3 4 5 6, 2 rows 3 columns, 7 8 9 10 11 12. Look at here, the output is 2 by 2. This is the concept of matrix multiplication. Next, rules for transpose of a matrix. To transpose a matrix, rows of matrix A changes to the columns of matrix B. For example, if A equal to 2 by 3, then B output matrix will come into the 3 by 2. So the rows and columns have to be interchanged and those values have to be swapped. The remaining entire concept is same. Okay, transpose. So here rows, I mean empty matrix, matrix A equal to empty matrix, rows equal to, okay, I will copy paste this one. So rows, A rows, B A elements. Then after that, what we have to do, after performing the or entering the elements into the matrix A and matrix B, we have to do that. Okay, I am going to take the transposed matrix, matrix underscore trans equal to empty matrix for I in range of A rows. We have to enter the number of sublists, that is matrix A dot append of empty list. So now this is for the matrix A. What is the result matrix we are going to get? The columns of the row, matrix A are going to be changed as the rows of the matrix B. That means for our result matrix, for I in range of A underscore columns, because matrix A rows are going to, matrix A columns are going to be converted as the matrix resultant matrix rows. That's why we are going to take the A underscore column, matrix A underscore trans of empty list. Let us try to print matrix A, then print matrix trans. So run. So 2 rows, 3 columns. Mat trans. Okay, sorry. Mat trans that append 2 rows, 3. Look at here. 2 by 3 has been changed as the 3 by 2. Now it's fine. We have entered the elements. We have to enter the elements. To enter the elements in the matrix, simply I am copying this one. So what are the elements I want to enter? I am going to enter with the, for I in range of A rows, then for J in range of A columns, I am entering an element into the respective variable and I am appending that, and I am printing the matrix A. I have printed the matrix A. So we have completed this one. Now what is the thing you have to do? We have to transpose the rows to the columns, columns to the rows. For that purpose, transpose logic. So for I in range of A columns, that means these columns are going to be converted into the rows, rows are going to be converted into the columns. That's why for I in range of A columns, for J in range of A rows, what we have to do? We have to take the some example EE equal to matrix A of J I. Matrix J have to be get into the EE, then matrix trans of I, that is append of EE. Now print the matrix, transposed matrix is mat underscore trans. Run 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6. Look at here, row 2 rows 3 columns. Now 3 rows 2 columns. This 1 2 3 row has been changed into 1 2 3 like column wise. This 4 5 6 has changed into 4 5 6. This is about the transpose of a matrix. Welcome back to our channel. In this video I am going to discuss about what is list comprehension in Python and different examples on list comprehension. What is list comprehension? First of all, we know the meaning of comprehension as ability to understand. So here the list comprehension means understanding the syntax for a list. What does this list comprehension provides? This list comprehension provides the short syntax. So it will provide you the shortest syntax. Why it provides the shortest syntax means we can create a new list based on the values of an existing list. So just now we said that list comprehension provides the shortest syntax and it provides you the creating a new list based on the existing list. This means it nothing but it returns a new list. The return value is a new list. So it doesn't change the old list. What is the syntax of this list comprehension? So the syntax is a new list name equal to list starting and ending followed by the an expression, and then an iterable condition, then a normal condition. Now let us uh, divide this one and let us explain. First and foremost, I will explain this iteration, then expression, and then what is this decision making. First of all, iterable. So this iterable is useful for iteration over the any object. That is, how many times a list have to perform the operation, that can be defined by this iterable. So this iterable defines that how many times an operation can be performed. Where this operation should be performed is, that is onto the expression. The expression is the current item in the iteration and the outcome. That is, whenever the iteration is in the iterable, then this expression have to be performed. After performing the expression, then the value is going to be appended onto the new list. So what is this decision making? This condition is purely optional. So the condition is purely optional. This condition acts as like a filter. For example, if you want to take any odd numbers from this iteration, such as if I equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in this range, if we go for the for loop, I value will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you use this condition as some only odd numbers, then we can get the 1, 3, 5. For the filtration of this iterable, we can use this condition. Is this condition is a compulsory? No, it is an optional one. Look at here. Whenever the iterable is in the item is available in the iterable, then the respective expression is going to be evaluated. So this expression will be evaluated only once for each item. For each item, that the expression is going to be evaluated once. Let us take the examples. Print 1 to n numbers in a list using the list comprehension. Before going to do this one, I will use the normal list concept. So n equal to int of input of enter n value. So if I take the n value as 5, I have to get my output as the list with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am taking a list li equal to empty list. So for I in range of n. When I take the range of n, then it considers the range of 5. Range of 5 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But what I am telling, my program is create a list with 1 to n numbers. Means 1 to n numbers means I have to take it as the range of n plus 1, and the range should start from the 1 onwards. That means 1 comma 6. So the range of 1 comma 6 goes up to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. These elements have to be appended onto my li. Now what I am going to do is, every iterable in the range, I am going to do that li dot append of I. That is, whenever the first iteration the I becomes 1, 1 is going to append it to the my list. Then in the second iteration 2 is going to appended. That is, in the first time 1 will be there. When the I value becomes 2, then 2 will be appended. Then whenever the 3 value will be appended, then 4 appends, then 5. After that, I am going to print my list. Run, enter n value 5. Look at here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The purpose of creating a list and appending the elements, we have taken statement 1, second one, third one. So this is a normal practice. But with the list comprehension, how can we do means, so first of all I will take n equal to int of input of enter n value, that is 0 to create a list with 1 to n values using list comprehension. Now after taking the n, I have to take a list li equal to an empty list. In this list, where our iteration have to be done, for I in range of 1 comma n plus 1. That is, whenever my I value is available in this range, then I am going to write the expression as the I simply. That is, the I value is going to be appended to the list Li directly. Now print of Li. Run. Look at here, same answer. So from this normal way, we have used the 3 statements, but in the list comprehension, we have used the single statement. That is, the I trouble have to be written at the right side, and first we have to write the expression what we want to store. Now, next example, printing the numbers from 1 to n minus 1 using if condition when you have 1000 numbers. Now, n equal to input of enter n value. I have taken n value. Now I am taking that. What we have to do? We have to print up to 1 to n minus 1. That is Li equal to I in range of 1 comma n. Now what we have to do? If we have the numbers greater than 1000, so where we have to print up to n minus 1 only we have to print. If I less than or equal to n, what we have to do? We have to append I. So print of Li. Let us take it as a 1 comma instead of 1 comma n. I will take the 1000. So out of 1000 element means it is going to take from the 1 comma 1000. So 1, 2, so on down up to 999 it is going to take in. But until how much I am going to insert? Up to only the I value is less than or equal to n, I am going to append. Run. So if I append 10, now look at here, 1 to 10 has been appended instead of range having the 1 to 1000. This is the condition where it is useful. In the square of the numbers. For example, if you want to create a list with the squares of the numbers, what we do? N equal to int of input of enter n value. So for each and every number squares equal to, I am going to do that for I in range of 1 comma n plus 1, because 0 square is 0. What I am going to do is I am going to do that I into I. So print of square. The first iteration I value is 1. 1 into 1 will be appended. Then 2. 2 into 2 will be appended. 3 into 3. 4 into 4. Run. 5. Look at here. 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square. Now you may get a doubt that if you are having a list like this, a sublist, is it possible to append the elements to this sublist? Yes, it is possible. How can we append? So this is a simple one. Now I am taking the a equal to n equal to int of input of enter how many elements. How many elements? Or simply I will take it as the columns, and rows equal to int of no need, rows no need. So a equal to list comprehension for I in range of t. Range of t. That is the first range, that is the outer range means 0, 1, 2. So total how many rows it is going to be created? It is going to be created 3 rows like this. For each and every row, what you have to do? You have to append a respective sublist. So I am doing that. Int of input of enter sublist value. So sublist value have to enter for I in a in range of calls. I will take that as enter value. Enter value for j in range of calls. That is for the 0th iteration, that is 0th row, these many columns as many of elements will be appended. For the first one, it is going to append that many columns into the matrix. Now print of A, run. How many elements you want to enter in each sublist? I want 3. So the first iteration it is asking me to enter the values 1, 2, 3. Then again in the second iteration, so 4, 5, 6. Again in the third iteration, 7, 8, 9. So after that we don't have any other things. Look at here. A sublist, another sublist, another sublist. This is the concept of list comprehension using Python.